Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for spending a part of your Monday with us. Canada's coffee get-together, your daytime sports talk show today. We got breaking news today as we look to the sports update. 2 Major League Baseball games scheduled for Monday night have been postponed as the Miami Marlins deal with a coronavirus outbreak that stranded them in Philadelphia. The Marlins' home opener tonight against Baltimore has been called off, as was the Yankees game at Philly. The Yankees could or would have been in the same clubhouse the Marlins used just yesterday. The Marlins postponed their flight home Sunday night after their series finale against the Phillies. Major League Baseball announced the cancellation of both games about 7.5 hours before the scheduled first pitch, saying additional COVID-19 testing was being conducted. Meanwhile, all Canadian teams are done at the MLS's back tournament in Florida. New York City FC sent Toronto FC home in a 3-1 round of 16 win Sunday night. And Sporting Kansas City beat the Vancouver Whitecaps 3-1 on penalties after the sides played to a 0-0 draw in regulation. The Montreal Whitecaps were knocked out a day earlier. Saskatoon's Thomas Hassel was named the player of the game, though, for the Whitecaps. Did you see that?
Yeah.
We got to get him on the show, Clark.
He's been so good.
And Marc Gasol was on the court for the first time in nearly 6 months last night as the Raptors beat the Portland Trailblazers 110-104 in a scrimmage at Walt Disney World. The big man had been dealing with hamstring issues. This sports update for Ballers Rec Room, Saskatchewan's newest entertainment destination. Our arcade games and batting cages are officially open. No reservation necessary. And for Red Bull Canada, Red Bull gives you wings. I'll say this about the commissioner of the CEBL, Mike Morreale, going after TSN for not covering his tournament, the CEBL Summer Series in St. Catharines, what I've been calling the Natty. I know I'm the only one that calls it the Natty, but that's okay. I've never been afraid to stand alone. If you watch the Raptors scrimmage, which I did, It looks absolutely no different than the CEBL games. No different.
That's the same. It looks great.
It's a closed. They look great.
Yeah, it's the same. It's exactly the same. And it's our league. Something to be proud of. And they're playing for a national championship. I wish there was more coverage. And there's more than meets the eye here, right? Did TSN say, well, you didn't give us the rights. You gave it to CBC, or CBC's got the rights, so we're not covering it. That's when you get broadcasters not running the network, right? The broadcasters want to cover the sports, but the suits don't. And I had this problem come up in my first radio job. We weren't allowed to call. I was told to not call the midget hockey tournament, the Max Midget AAA tournament, because Max wasn't a sponsor
of the radio station. Wasn't buying time.
They weren't buying time on the radio station. Well, that's the name of the tournament. It's the name of the tournament. Max is so synonymous. Or the A&W, there was an A&W tournament, local midget tournament. That was the name of it.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
No.
I'm with you. And I'm happy I don't got to answer to guys like that anymore. Like the guy that got in your face. More breaking news. Okay. Now we're getting down and dirty, okay? Richie Leone, punter of the Ottawa Redblacks, has written in. He's watching. And he says, Rod, I think you should pull up Marco Dubois' tweet from this morning. So I have, Richie. Marco Dubois of the Redblacks, current player, has tweeted at Randy Ambrosie, the commissioner. He says, and keep this up, Clark, by the way, from Solomon. Randy Ambrosie, I've been training for 6 months to prepare for camp. I was lucky enough to get an office job during that time. I've been telling my employer that we will have an answer on what's going on with the season soon. It's my first real job that will help me do the transition for after football. As a rookie at my office, I ask for a lot of things because of my football career. I don't have an answer to give to my boss today. I would assume that you are smart enough to understand that my credibility at work is going to be affected by this. I would like to keep my job. I would like to know and not wait anymore. We all love football, but we also need something to pay our bills. It is the reality of the CFL. Of CFL players, I would say if it's a yes, play ball. If it's a no, we'll prepare for 2021 and have regular jobs in our communities. A fair deal and answers would be nice by the end of the week. That's just my 2 cents. During my lunch break, he puts in stars. P.S. I am sorry for every employee of the CFL that has lost his or her job. Sincerely, Marco Dubois. Thank you, Richie, for alerting me to this. And even more newsworthy, I would suggest, is this from Solomon Elamimian, who's tweeting at Farhan Lalji, who reported team staff is being told Team staffs being told to prepare for a season and the players will be arriving in Winnipeg September 14th. You can take that down, guys. I'm going to read it. From Solomon Elamimian, the president of the Players Association. Farhan, not sure who your source is, but with many issues unresolved, the Players Association and League are not close to a deal. Did your source tell you the League failed to meet with the Players Association last Friday? I won't speak on what football ops are being directed to, but we haven't seen it. This really goes back to my rant in the Quick Six show topics.
Yep.
Farhan, I love the guy, and he has told me many times he appreciates coming on this show and he enjoys it, same as Dave Naylor. They're getting direct info from the CFL owners and the presidents and the governors. But I don't believe it's true. I don't. And I was talking to an agent late last week. And listen, not all owners are... I like some of them. Can I put it that way?
Sure.
I don't like all of them. But the one thing with players and coaches that I've realized since I've crossed the floor and switched sides is that the players and coaches, they don't lie. Probably to a fault, they don't lie. But when I'm talking to somebody and I can't tell what's coming out of his mouth is the truth or not the truth, I have a problem with that. I really have a problem with that. Some people say, oh, it's just playing the game. I still have a problem with it. So if somebody was giving me false news, I'd be pretty upset. Now, I understand TSN is the rights holder and the broadcaster for the Canadian Football League. Does that mean they have to report every single thing that the owners and governors and presidents give them? Back to what I said. I told you I was dealing with a president and a VP of another company here about a year ago, and they were blowing sunshine up my ass would be the term. And I said, why don't you and me and that other guy go jump in a boat and sail around the world? Let's just do that. Because that's not realistic either. So to put this out that the players are going to be reporting to Winnipeg on September 14th and live in a bubble and play and practice, when I got agents, player reps, and players themselves asking, where's the per diem going to be? What are they going to be feeding this? What are we going to do after noon when we're done every day with practice? What are we going to do? Keep them in the bubble? It's not realistic. And that's what Solomon Elamimian is saying here. Farhan, who's your source? John Schmidt says, ask Arash Madani, he'll know, or Justin Dunk. Well, a lot of their sources are the same as mine. That's a fact. Yeah. Jason in Red Deer says, yes, Rod, mainstream media feels they should be first to report rather than be accurate. Same goes for us and whatever you want to call what we're doing here. No, mainstream media gets told what to say. I never had a problem with that as long as it was true. When you're told to go on and lie, that's when I got a really big problem with it. I'm sorry, do you have a footnote on that before we break and come back for viewer takeover?
Yeah, the only thing I would say is I don't doubt that they're getting the info, but now it's become such a PR game. And,
it's been for a while.
It really has. And, are the owners actually messaging the staff and saying, be prepared to go back September 14th? And with the whole plan or the whole idea saying, let's do that, because if that gets out, at least it looks like we're doing our jobs. And Farhan sees it, and, it's a credible source for him, so he puts it out there.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Everybody's leaking stuff, but it's all calculated. Is it true?
I don't have a problem with it being leaked as long as it's not a lie.
That's my point. Who knows, right?
And what's fake news?
Exactly.
Stuff intended to mislead people.
Right. And that's where we start to lose the trust of the people that are leading the way.
Absolutely. Clark's telling me we only got a minute. So we'll come back and viewer takeover, after this. But all those things that I broke, Ken Holland being GM of the Oilers, the PFC season starting with a 6-game season, the Winnipeg Hub City, it was all true. It was just ahead of when the entities wanted it announced. Didn't make it wrong. We'll be back. We'll go to the Facebook wall, the text line, all of it. It's a busy and interesting Monday here on the RP Show. Canada's daytime sports talk show continues after this on Game Plus TV Network. And you're listening and watching around the world on the Rod Pedersen Broadcasting Network.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of The Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.